Hello everybody, welcome back and welcome if you're new here to a new Violet Evergarden reaction. So, last time, episode 1 and 2, I would definitely say that Violet Evergarden is unlike any other anime that I have been watching so far. Movies and TV shows, aka Attack on Titan. If I were to define what Violet Evergarden is, it would be like a coat of varnish on top of silk, if you see what I mean. It's really ethereal, it's really dreamy, it's really delicate, and that is how I would define it in some way. Because yeah, in the music and the tones, especially in the light, how they decide to animate the lighting, the rhythm, the pace of it, and yes, the general atmosphere of it is like you're living in a dream constantly, and that is really beautiful, and that is quite refreshing. And so last time we met with Violet Evergarden, who is quite an interesting character because she's new to the world, basically. She's been raised, as a child during a war. She was raised to be a soldier. And maybe even more than a soldier, it was almost like she was meant to be some sort of a war machine, So now that the war is done, she's going on this journey to understand the world, to get to discover what the world is about, and especially what I love you means. So that is really going to be an interesting journey, because we see already that she's surrounded by different kind of characters, but they seem all great, apart maybe from Iris, if I remember her name well. Apart from Iris, everybody else seems to be quite benevolent from the get-go. I'm not doubting, that Iris is a fine girl, but she's quite defying, I would say, regarding Violet for now. Because herself is trying to fit in this new job that she's been training for and everything. So seeing somebody messing up like Violet is not something that obviously she's going to be quite enjoyed about. But this is going to be interesting to see how all of these characters are going to interact and everything. Definitely I have a particular interest in Benedict. I find him quite nice and funny at the same time, and he seems to have this kind of in between place, between the employee, but as well he's a friend of Orchin's. So I like him. From the whole bunch of secondary characters, he may be I don't know if he would be the best necessarily, but he's the one that I find yet again quite refreshing when it comes to the show. So the whole concept of the movie is really interesting. I don't know if this is also. I know that before, in the olden days, such kind of services I think did exist in some ways, people who would write letters for you and everything. But here it's quite interesting because there is a mix of, we are on the verge of fantasy and some sort of medieval steampunk, if you see what I mean. So the whole twist on it is quite interesting, and to see this auto memory doll thing as a way to get our character introduced to the emotions and everything, I find is just really, really, really clever, because we have Violet, a character who is totally a stranger to this, and we have what's her name? The other girl, something Brown. I know her surname is Brown, but I don't remember her first name, sorry. Who is, but you see, who I'm talking about, who is struggling with the work itself, and yet that girl, she's apparently not being raised as a war machine, and she seems very well connected, to her own emotions and everything, but she's struggling to assume another person's feelings and to share them and to transcribe them. So this is really going to be interesting to see how both of them are going on about it, maybe what they can bring into each other to become better auto-memory dolls. And that just tells you that not only is it not easy for somebody who should be able to do it, like Miss Brown should, but then it's going to be an even greater challenge for Violet, who is not only a stranger to the world, but she's also a stranger to herself in a certain way, because she has no idea how to act, she has no idea how to think, because all her life so far, everybody has always been telling her what to do. She's always had missions to complete, so it's quite simple, you know. And now she has to make decisions on her own and to be somebody on her own. So this is like double the journey for her. So yes, jumping to episode 3, I have no idea where we're going to head towards. I'm going to be watching episode 3 and 4. Obviously, we're going on about 2 episodes every Tuesdays. And yes, that's going to be it for now. The full-length reaction to this episode is, just like always, going to be available on the Patreon. Link down below in the description box. Sorry. The links to my social media is also going to be down below in the description box. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share the video. That being said, we're going to jump right in. Let's go. What is this place? A classroom? And obviously quite the uptight teacher. Oh, training school. Obviously.
しかし、私が良きドールと認めない限り、この証は決して与えられません。覚悟はいいですか？
了解しました。バイオレット・エヴァーガーデン。お人形のような服装とはかけ離れた。まるで
エヴァーガーデンさん、どうしました？
速度の指定がありません。
1分200文字で。
了解しました。
Interesting. I think our discipline is going to make a win points with the teacher.
任務中の食事は最小限にするよう訓練されております。
では、本日の成績を発表します。文法の成績、満点、バイオレット・エヴァーガーデン。満点、バイオレット・エヴァーガーデン。
I would not be surprised that she would be great at school.
私が手紙を書きたい相手。宛先はクラウディア・ホッジンズ様に。社長です。
Obviously she
バイオレット・
lacks.
エヴァーガーデン。
Oh,
これで終わり。
seemed to be quite short.
今度はルクリアさんの手紙をどうぞ。
Yeah, I was about to say she lacks point of reference, you know, as to
了
being
解し
close
ま
to
した。
somebody, relationships.
バイオレット、読んでみなさい。
はい。背景父上様、母上様。久々の手紙ですが、伝達事項はありません。以前からの件に感謝を伝えていないことを懸念しております。一緒に行った場所。
It's really beautiful. The lighting
私
like
は子
this.
供の頃からずっとこの眺めが大好きなの。
It's a really beautiful view.
じゃあ私、ルクリアさん。
So she's making a friend.
私の代筆したものは手紙とは呼べないと指摘されました。私は
I'm really wondering how they're gonna do that to make her understand expression and how would you do that, guys?
お父さん、お母さん。
So what's happened? What's her story? Are her parents dead?
私はライデンで探そうかな。ルクリアは？
卒業できなくても 道路になれないわけじゃないし。
ですが、それでは何のために学校へ通った人が話している言葉の中から伝えたい心を救い上げられないのでは。
Yeah, that's
道路の意
the
味が
problem.
ありません。
It's not like she failed, you know, at typing fast or typing well. It's she's failing at understanding emotions and transcribing them. So that's quite the core of the work.
何を伝えたいのか自分でもわからないのです。私はまだあの方が言ってくださった言葉の意味さえも理解していないのですから。
It's interesting the obsession that she has on these three words. I have to say something here in the post-reaction discussion. Stick around.
本当は生きててくれるだけで嬉しいの。ありがとうって伝えたいだけなのに。
That was pretty nice. Oh, it's not done. Oh.
あんたルクリアの
Oh, she wrote the letter.
お兄ちゃん生きてきてくれて嬉しいのありがとう
I mean, short, effective. There's still the world in this letter, you know.
おはようバイオレット。
ずっと言えなかったお兄ちゃんへの思い。
あなたが良きドールになりますように。
I hope she becomes an optimal doll as well, but I'm not really sure about this graduation. Sorry, guys, for not rejoicing, but I have second thoughts about this graduation. I'm really glad by the fact that, you know, she really succeeded into expressing Lucretia's emotions, but I'm not sure it was enough, you know, to consider that she's okay to graduate right now. Okay.
彼女はお人形のような服装でちょっと軍人さんみたいでちょっと変わったとっても素敵な女の子でした。
But you be an exemplary auto-memorita. Nice. So, I'm gonna start with the ending. Yes, obviously, I'm so happy that she finally is getting to understand emotion, process feelings, and how to transcribe them. But I'm not really sure it would have been enough, you know, to graduate from the school, because I feel like she still has a long way to go to understanding feelings. It deserves a good mark, you know, but I don't know if it deserved really to graduate from the school, because she still has a long way to go, I feel, to processing emotions and feelings and to... But I mean, it's cool, it's not a live graduation, so... okay, but I have mixed feelings. Regarding... There's a lot to discuss regarding philosophy and psychology in this movie, because it deals with emotions and processing them, and what I want mainly to say is the fact that Violet had a block when it came to expressing her own emotions, and Luculia was able to express them, but she felt like she couldn't, which is quite contradictory, you know. And I find that a lot in people that I meet every day, or people with whom I have a conversation, is that when it comes to processing emotions and everything and to express them to somebody else, to a close one, people often feel like they need to find a specific word, a specific saying, a specific way to tell them. And when they're talking quite naturally, just like Luculia was doing to Violet, in my opinion, that's exactly what she should have written down, you know, basically almost word for word. People feel that when it comes to communication, there is one perfect way to do it, and I do not believe that's the case, you know. I'm somebody who believes that if the heart is in it, whatever the medium that you decide to go on, it will transcribe, And this is what brings me to Violet. She says that she does not know what she wants to tell the Major or how to express things. But I'd like to bargain on the fact that I believe that Violet does feel things. Violet does have emotions. Violet does, just for the simple fact that she's obsessing on the words "I love you" tells me that she is processing things. But I do believe that subconsciously she's denying herself the ability to express them simply because she has never had to do it before. Does not mean that she can't or that she's unable to. I just feel like she's denying herself that ability because she wasn't. She's understanding Lucalia's hardship emotion. She's just not used to expressing herself, and yeah, the very fact that to me she's obsessed on the Major and these 3 words shows me that she's already proving dedication and an attachment to the individual and to these words. And so it's not like they don't mean anything to her. It's not like it's not just the fact that she was given a slate of words and only these 3 she did not understand. She's reading them, she's processing them. Basically she knows that I is I. Love, she knows that it is an emotion, and you, she knows, she knows what the words mean. What she wants to understand is how it transcribes. So it tells me that she knows that it means something, so she knows that it has emotions, so she processes the fact that what the Major told her is important, and that it was about the feelings that he expressed towards her. But what she has to understand is to let go a little bit of the processing the information and to just go with a certain flow. And yes, that's what I got from that episode, is the fact that people need to unlock that thing in their brain, because I think that's a block in their brain, in my opinion, is that, and it's just the same for a lot of things in life, but I'm not just gonna expand here. People have the ability to do a lot of things and to do things, but they deny themselves abilities. They deny, when it comes to emotions, specifically here, people deny themselves abilities. Lucalia says she does not know how to tell that to her brother, but she does. She's just done it to Violet, She's just told Violet what she wants to tell her brother, but when it comes to actually doing the things, she denies herself. It's not that it blocks, it's that she blocks herself. That's really what's happening. It's unconscious, it's subconscious, but that is exactly what is happening here, at least in my opinion, and in my analysis of the thing, because the very fact that she's able to express it to Violet shows that she's able to express the right words. So regarding the letter that Violet wrote, short, I also often you don't need to be overly eloquent when you express your emotions or when you want to speak to somebody. Obviously, people might come across better to the larger public, if I could say so. But if you want to express something to a specific person and that you believe you have a connection with this person or whatever, the message might come across, whether you use 6 words or whether you use 120. it's the very proof is the 3 words that Violet is blocking on. I love you, it's just 3 words, but there's a whole word in it, meaning that it expresses so much in so little. So yeah, just go simple. And that made me think, by the way, when Violet said just write a letter, then if you can't tell him in front, just write a letter. And that brings me to another thing that I'm seeing. A lot of people are so adamant on wanting to express or receive expression of affection and everything, and on a physical basis like this. I understand that people might be like this, it's everybody has their thing. But what this show is proving to me, and what it really entails, is that you don't need to necessarily be like this. A word is still a word, whether the person is pronouncing it to you here, or writing it, or just today in the modern world, just sending you a text message or a DM or anything really. As long as it comes from individual A to individual B, in my opinion, that's communication, and that's enough. A mean of communication is just a mean, but it is still communication. It is still from person A to person B. Whether the person is right in front of you or whether she is behind a screen, it is still her who chooses to write those words and to send them to you, or to process these words and to communicate them to you. So to me, the letter is the fact that the auto-memory doll thing about letters is quite true, because these people are not going to send videos, they're going to send a letter. And it doesn't mean that because the person is not right here it is less sensitive. It doesn't mean that it means less. It doesn't mean anything really. Just taking the example of couples, people say oh, he broke up with you by text, or she broke up with you by text. They're cowards, or I don't know what. To me, it's totally unrelated to just a guilt trip and anything like this. Or just to say I love you to somebody you like. Oh, she didn't tell me that in person. He just sent me a text message. I mean, no. Whether it is a text message or a pigeon, if you'd like, or just a card, or just flowers, or I don't know, it is still coming from that person and going to you. It is still the same thing. The meaning is different, and if, in my opinion, if you're so relying on what the mean of communication is and not the communication itself, then there is a problem, in my opinion. But that's just me. But anyways, so that was my reaction to Violet Evergarden Season 1, Episode 3. I'm going to be watching Episode 4 right now. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Take care. I'll be seeing you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.